Hello and welcome back to the fourth episode of the Spotlight podcast with myself, Phil and Cam.
Hello.
If you enjoy everything football related on the channel, make sure to like and subscribe as always. Tell your mates as well. Any support at this stage especially, it will be greatly appreciated. So let's get into this week's news. So to start with, the FA Cup this week, fourth round replays. Tuesday's action saw Liverpool 1, Shrewsbury 0. Phil, what did you make of it? I know it wasn't streamed on telly. You heard it on the radio, didn't you?
Watched it on a live stream.
Watched it? Yes,
Yeah.
actually, yes. I remember you saying. What did you make to the game?
Really impressive, considering it was a young kids playing. I mean, we had 16-year-olds on the pitch. The oldest player was 22, and against the physical Shrewsbury side, they did well and they played good football. I think it helped being at Anfield behind 52,000 fans are there, so that obviously spurs them on. But no, it's a good result.
Who do you think's the pick of the bunch out of the Liverpool sort of academy players? Obviously, you've got a lot of talent there. So who's your pick of the bunch?
Curtis Jones. He was a captain, and I think he's a stand-up player, and I think he's the closest to being at the level of the first team at the minute. He played incredible. It's a captain's performance as well as skill, flair. You know, he was a really good player, promising player. Be interested to see how he does.
What do you make to Harvey Elliott as well?
He's another one, but at the age of 16, there's still a long way to go.
Is he 16?
16, 17 in
17?
March, I think.
He's still 16?
It might even be May when he's turned 17. But yeah, still so young, so you can't really overhype a player because we've done it with Odegaard years ago. So he's a very promising player, but his feet on the ground for now.
Cam, did you watch the game?
I did actually.
Did you?
Yeah,
What did you make to it?
Flatmate's a Liverpool fan, so I had it on the stream. Yeah, it's good. Liverpool had a deserved win. I thought Shrewsbury might put a bit more of a fight, and so was it definite? Should their goal definitely have been ruled out then? Yeah.
People on Twitter, I think, are being a bit like, oh, it shouldn't have counted Liverpool and all that, but I think it was a fair. Offside's an offside. We've seen it in the Prem. And I think there was an argument that Shrewsbury, because they don't have it in League One, that VAR should be scrapped, but I think that's as far-fetched, to be honest.
Yeah.
Who was your sort of standout player from that game?
I think Phil got it to Curtis Jones. He is he's just been involved in a lot more Liverpool games, and he did captain the side, and I think he is the most progressed out of them all. Yeah.
So the next game, Oxford 2, Newcastle 3. We watched a little bit of extra time, didn't we, after the Liverpool game? What did you make to St Maximin's brilliant goal?
Brilliant finish. I think ever since he came to the Prem, excited to see how he would perform, and he's been brilliant. Like in spells, his end product is questioned by quite a few people, but it goes to show his quality. The finish, dribbling, it was a class finish.
What do you make to St Maximin? Is he Newcastle's star player, Cam?
Yeah, I think he is. He's their go-to man if they want something to be created out of nothing. They don't have many players like that, and that goal showed that he can produce. He just needs to do it on a more consistent basis now, and he is still only young, so he could be a valuable asset.
I think Newcastle have over the years have struggled for a player like St Maximin. You think the attacking options have had in recent years. Kennedy's kind of flopped. You've had all the tall strikers that have been and gone. You think St Maximin is a real talent. You can tell that Newcastle's probably just going to be a stepping stone for a big team. Probably
if he
Champions
carries on
League
the way
level.
he is as well, I think definitely.
100%. Going back to Liverpool, should Klopp have been in charge of the team rather than letting Neil Critchley, the under-23 manager, take charge? Do you think that's maybe a little bit disrespectful from Klopp?
I can understand why people think it is. At the end of the day, it's Liverpool's first team, even though it's a young team. So technically, he should be there. And it's just, I think it's his stand. He's said it all season about every player having a rest. I think it's just his stand to enforce how he feels, which is fair enough. And in my opinion, Neil Critchley, he is the manager of that team, of the reserves. So I think it's fair that he was the one in charge because he knows who his players best. So.
Cam, what do you think? Do you think Klopp should have been in charge?
Yeah, he should have. I understand his decision to play like the youngsters and give them a chance, but at the end of the day, they're going to be going into the first team, so he should know who's good and who's not. And like Phil said, it was the first team, so he should be managing it. But Man United had this trouble back in 1999 when we won the treble. Except like we had the Club World Cup at the time, so we wanted to go to that, and the FA were like, no, you have to play this. And we're like, well, we can play our under 23s if you want, like no under 21s at the time, and they were like, no, you'll have to be disqualified then. So and then front page of the national newspapers, United disgrace and all that. But at least Klopp should have managed it.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree. I think not showing up, at least being at the ground, there watching the game, at the very least. If you're not managing the team, you should be there watching the next generation coming through. You should be knowing what's coming through. So I think it's a little bit disrespectful from not only Klopp but the players as well. I think the players should be there to spur on.
James Milner was
the only one that was there, but I think he shouldn't be lauded just because he was there. I think it should be an expectation for all the players to be there to.
Again, I think it's down to Klopp enforcing the fact that they were given 2 weeks off. Every team has, and I think it's just his point. He's been strong about it in his interviews all season, so I think that's why he's done it. But I can understand why people think it is disrespectful, etc. But I mean, it's all over now.
Do you think this would have been different if this was Mourinho's stance, and Mourinho not just playing the youth and not attending the game or something like that?
Potentially, because Mourinho's known to get the press on his back over the smaller things. So it's a fair point to make. But then I think you'd have that with any manager. Klopp's faced enough backlash in the media over, in my opinion.
Maybe not enough for me, but
maybe
my
coming
bias
from a United fan.
So fifth round ties. Speaking of the FA Cup, the pick of the ties. There's two ties that really stand out to me in terms of size and sort of the history. So you got Chelsea v Liverpool, which is a big tie, and then you got Derby versus Manchester United. Obviously Wayne Rooney at Derby now returning to Old Trafford. What do you make to that, Cam, as a Man United fan?
It would be good to see him back, yeah. We could probably do with him in our team at the minute, to be honest, with his form. But at least Wayne Rooney's played against United 8 times in his career and never won, so good thing for United. But
what do you think, Phil?
I think it's a really intriguing tie. Obviously, it's going to be overshadowed by the return of Rooney, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how both teams do, because Derby, they've had a tough season in the Championship, suffered just a poor season by their standards, pushing for the playoffs last year, now in the bottom half, but recently in the new year they turned into half decent form again, so it could be, I think it's a difficult tie for United.
Prediction for that one then, Man United or Derby? I think
last season when Derby played United at Old Trafford, obviously they shocked a lot of people and they won, but I think this time United might just scrape it. 2-1 win for United.
Do you think United will play a strong side?
Solskjaer has to. If he wants his job, then he has to play it, because he needs to.
I mean, it's one of the only trophies you can win.
It's literally the only trophy you can go for now, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Europa League. Yeah, sorry, actually, yeah.
But yeah, he has to if he wants to save his job. So I think we'll play a strong team and 3-0 win.
3-0. Okay. Chelsea v Liverpool.
Massive game.
Do you think Liverpool will continue to play the 23s, or do you think Klopp might take this one perhaps a little bit more seriously?
Obviously, it all depends on if it coincides with a league game a couple of days after, but I think it'll be a mixture of youth and experience. It won't be Liverpool's first team by any means, but I think a blend would be. We beat Arsenal earlier on in the season with like a mixture of talent and age, so I think it all just depend. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see a weaker Liverpool team in that one.
Do you think Liverpool will win that one?
It all depends on the teams from either side. I mean, Chelsea at home have struggled this season, especially of late, but I think it all depends on you can't really predict it until you see the team sheets.
What do you think, Cam? Do you agree with Phil?
Are there any replays from this stage onwards? I don't think there are.
I don't actually, I don't know.
I think there's from a certain stage there's no replays. I'm not sure which round that is, but if there are no replays, I'll see Liverpool winning on the night on penalties, no matter what team they put out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think, before we move on, do you think Lampard will name a full strength team for that game? Because obviously they've got good talent.
Majority, but not a full starting 11.
I think he should, just because I think it's a good opportunity for Lampard to win a trophy. I think.
Is it the only one? It's the only one they can win, isn't it?
They can technically get Champions League, but I think they've got Barcelona.
I think it's a similar situation. Depends what games they have either side, because they need to get that fourth place, and other teams are creeping up on them slowly now. So I think he needs to.
It's an interesting one to
see what the
watch
fixtures
because
are.
it could go either way. It
Yeah.
all depends on the strength of the sides. Because if Chelsea have the first team out against a sort of reserve Liverpool team, you'd expect Chelsea to get the win,
Yeah,
especially at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Moving on to the big game, the big Premier League game that we previewed last week. Spurs 2, Man City 0. Was it a case of good fortune for Spurs, or do you think did they really deserve the win?
No, they didn't deserve the win. When they went 2-0 up, they only had 2 shots.
2 shots, 2 goals.
So and Man City's finishing was quite poor that day. So it was a bit lucky on Spurs' behalf, and yeah, I think Man City did deserve the win. They should have won. I think 9 times out of 10, Man City would have won that.
What do you make to it, Phil?
Yeah, I agree. It's down to some fortune for Tottenham because on another day they could have conceded 4 or 5 goals, especially with the chances that City had. Missed a penalty. Gundogan missed that sort of not tap in, but he should have scored when Sterling laid it across. And Aguero hit the post. So
yeah.
there's 3 chances off the top of our heads. But again, I think if you win a game like Tottenham did, you have to sort of respect it because they've gone in with a game plan. And yeah, they was a bit lucky, but I think they did
Mourinho masterclass.
Yeah, that's what we've been hearing all week.
I don't think it was. I think like a match of the day as well. They analysed it like Tottenham was good fortune, but they defended fairly well. They put all the bodies on the line. So I think Tottenham at the end of the day they've done well and it should be applauded for the efforts really.
I think I read a stat about the combined games both games this season. City have had 47 shots against Spurs in those 2 games, and Spurs have only had 7, and Spurs have ended up coming out on aggregate, if you like, as 4-2 win. As
4-3, isn't it?
4.
Oh no, yeah,
4-2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a bit similar to the Man United game that we spoke about last week as well, where City were just kind of just bottling it in front of goal. I think we need to work on just being more composed in front of goal. I know that sounds...
Do you think that's what it is? Because obviously I read a stat, I think this is Guardiola's worst season on record. I think it's at 6 defeats now.
Yeah, it's
what's changed from last season when you won the league with 98 points and now, you're still second, but you're not a fraction of the team you were from last year.
I think it's a mix of obviously Liverpool applying a lot of pressure, obviously you're seeing with how well they've done well in the league, and sort of the expectation that maybe we've had and the injuries that have really cost us, certainly in the first half of the season. Obviously the second half remains to be seen whether we can perhaps solidify second and maybe make a push for the Champions League and the domestic competitions.
As a City fan, do you think you can win the Champions League? I know we sort of spoke about it in the last podcast.
I don't think so. I don't think our defence is strong enough to hold out the better attacking teams, especially when you look at Liverpool and even Real Madrid, who we're playing in the next round.
They've improved recently, haven't they?
Yeah, they're top of the league now. So I think that tie will be very tough, and I think it might define if our season is a success or a failure.
Do you think Man City's attackers maybe too laid back? Or the whole team in a way, because you're not fighting for the league title anymore, and there aren't exactly many competition for places at Man City at the minute.
No.
There's quite a few injuries, and especially with Sane being out, Sterling hasn't shown the kind of form that we expect from him now, and that he showed at the start of the season last season. So do you think it's a bit more?
Yeah, as you said, I think Sterling, we spoke about that as well last week. Sterling needs something to perk him up, to maybe get him up for these games, because he's not having any competition on that left wing at the minute with Sane being injured.
Do you think that's what's down to his poor form as of late? Because obviously, like Cam said, at the start of the season he was on fire. I think he's got 24 goals in all competitions this season. Incredible stats, but that was in the start of the season onwards. Why has he suddenly changed his form?
It's inconsistency, I think, as well. With kind of our midfield being a bit... Sometimes you can create like crazy, seeing what De Bruyne has done this season, but sometimes it can be a little bit slow and a bit passive. So I think that might have something to do with it as well. But maybe just... I think what it is Sterling not having any competition on that left side, not having anything to, he knows even if he does play bad, he's probably still going to start because there's no one there to replace him
Yeah.
on that side.
Do you think there will be a big overhaul in the summer? Or there's been rumours of it in newspapers and stuff, but can you see it?
Not a big overhaul. I don't think it requires a rebuild. I mean, we're still second in the league, in the Champions League, still in all the domestic competitions, so it's not...
I think it's a testament really to how good you've been in the last 2 seasons. People are questioning, like, do you need a rebuild? Look at your squad, it's the best in the world in terms of depth.
The age of the players getting a bit older and and then the defence isn't quite where it should be because they didn't replace Company anyway in the summer.
I think that was their biggest mistake. People can pin it on Laporte getting injured, but not replacing Company, a captain who's won 4 league titles with the club. I think it's a big mistake not to. It's hard because no one really will have the same leadership skills and the same effect, but it's a big miss not having someone that big in the dressing room.
Yeah, it's about getting the recruitment right. I think it is absolutely vital that at least we should push to find someone who can replace Company to the best of our abilities, considering, as you said, he's a leader. He provided a big aerial presence. He can play the ball out the back. He can carry with it. So I think all those attributes, especially in a central defender, is very hard to replace these days, especially. So moving on now to the main topic of the video, what we're going to discuss today is the 5 best buys from the January transfer window. We've all prepared 5 of the best, and we'll explain 5 to 1 why we think they are the best for both them personally and for the club as well. So Phil, I'll start with you. Number 5, what have you got?
It might come as a surprise to both of you, but I've gone for Jared Bowen from Hull to West Ham. He's a player that I've become more aware of in the last couple of years, but he scores a lot of goals. He's had 24 goal and assists in 32 appearances for Hull this season, and now he's gone to West Ham. I think the reason why it's a good signing is West Ham are struggling, 17th in the league. So I think it's just what they need. I think they've only scored 30 goals in the Prem. So I think it'll be a bit of a lift going forward. And I think if West Ham, which you need to stay up, I think it could be down to his success.
Yeah, I think I was surprised in the summer that no one actually went for Jared Bowen because, like you said, off the right flank, provides a lot of goal contributions. And I think for West Ham especially now, someone that could really potentially impact if he hits the ground running, impact on their attacking output this season. So yeah, that's number 5. I think that's a good shout. Cam, what do you think?
Well, adding on to Jared Bowen, he is in my top 5, so you did take him. But interesting move for him because obviously he's proven his quality in the Championship with 52 goals since debut in 2017, which is 8 more than any other player in the Championship. And interesting thing about him, if he does prove himself, there's a release clause if West Ham get relegated.
Ooh.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so if he does prove,
how much is it?
I think it's the exact same amount what West Ham bought him for.
That'd be a bargain then.
Yeah, so if he does prove,
22.5 million it was. So
I think it's around. Yeah, so
it's a bargain for a lot of clubs at these.
and obviously Palace were interested before West Ham stole the deal. So yeah, it's a good move for him. But for my 5th place, maybe a controversial one, but we also said good move for the player. So Odion Ighalo at number 5.
As Phil is head in his hands. As the Man United fan, I will allow you to explain this one, but I'm sure Phil's going to have contradicting
I'm
views.
not saying he's one of the best players of the transfer window. I'm not saying, but I am saying that it's the right move for Man United. We're lacking in depth with the Rashford injury out more or less 3 months now. So Martial, is he an out-and-out number 9? Questions all the time. So Ighalo, proven number 9 in the Premier League with Watford. Top scorer in the Chinese league. I know it's not the most prolific league.
How many goals?
I haven't done that recently, but there are like Arnautovic and top strikers in that league. So Ighalo's done well, but I watched a video of him. First 10 seconds,
Was
he
it a
looks
montage?
quite good. Yeah, I was like first 10 seconds, he looks quite good. 30 seconds in, I was like, Chinese league makes him look like Neymar here. So yeah, that's how poor the quality is. But obviously, he's a top scorer in the African Cup of Nations as well. Name any African players, your Salahs, your Aubameyangs, he scored more than them. And you also said for the player, so he's a huge Man United fan. as you've seen over Instagram and Twitter, he hasn't shut up about it since he's moved. So, yeah, I'll leave you two to roast me now.
I'll let Phil go first because I'm sure you're going to provide an argument against this.
I can understand from his point of view it's a good move from China to United. If you're a massive United fan, it's a dream come true. But as a club as big as Man United, I understand that you're short on strikers, but surely there's better ones. Not world class, but there's better strikers in Europe that United could have got on loan.
I'm not sure though. Who else would you say is available on just a short-term deal that would be willing to come in and just do a job? Maybe as a bit of backup coming in. Can you think of many other
Cavani
players?
was on the market.
Yeah, but he said that he didn't want to come to Manchester United or Chelsea. So I don't see who
It's
else.
Haaland was on the market at the start.
That is a big one.
I think we were in for him, weren't we? But
He chose
it's just,
Dortmund over United.
No.
He
It's,
did.
Yes.
it's
He
the
did.
negotiations in terms of you're not a top club like that. You're not willing to buy a player and then put a 60 million release clause in, are you? It's not very good business at the end of the day because
No.
he's probably worth 100 mil already if Dortmund wanted to sell.
But if
it's
United, Haaland used to play under Solskjaer at Mould,
Yeah.
if I'm correct, and you'd think that someone who used to coach him, he'd jump at the chance to be reunited, especially at United. And I think just going from someone like Haaland to Regalo, it's just a downgrade in my opinion.
But compared to that deadline day, we were getting desperate, and I think he was a relatively good signing. Like I'd rather get him on loan with an option to buy rather than bidding 30 million for Josh
Yeah,
King.
When
see
did
that
Rashford
point.
get injured? Wasn't it at the start of January
It was the FA Cup
against Wolves?
replay,
Yeah.
wasn't it, against?
And what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just. There's been like a good couple of weeks before the ending of the transfer window since that game, if I'm correct. Don't
a
they have
bit,
enough
yeah.
time?
Yeah.
Don't they have enough time in that spell to look at better
Well,
options
this
and
is
leave
Man-
it to the last day?
This is Manchester United you're talking about, you know, a club without a sporting director, without any sort of structural solidity. You think... I think Igalo is possibly, as you said, on deadline day. I think that's probably the best you could have got.
I mean, it's not unheard of. Even under Sir Alex Ferguson, we're signing a Swedish striker in his mid-30s to come on loan for the last 6 months of the season, Henrik Larsson. So
Don't get me wrong, it's not an awful signing. I just
Yeah.
think when you compare Igalo to the other strikers in the league, I know he's not world class, and I know you weren't ever going to sign anyone world class. I just think it's just an average, bang average move for me.
Well, it remains to be seen. We'll,
But yeah,
sure
I mean, this could come back to bite me.
when he
but
kicks on in a month, let's see.
Yeah.
We'll review it then.
title challenges, aren't they?
So for number 5, I've got Christian Eriksen to Inter Milan. I think the move for Eriksen was needed because at Spurs, I think he was getting a lot of fan backlash, and I don't think he was enjoying it. I think he just wanted out. I think originally he wanted to go to Real Madrid, but I think they've kind of centred their interest now around Pogba for the summer, and
also
Valverde
Mbappe.
and
Have
Mbappe
you
as
seen
well.
this one this morning? Jack Grealish. Real Madrid want Jack Grealish.
Really?
Saw this morning. I know, yeah.
Wow.
That was my reaction.
Jesus Christ. Christian Eriksen, I think the move for him to Inter Milan is good because the Serie A's, you know, commonly known as a league that's not exactly high tempo like the Premier League is, and I think if he can settle down into that Inter Milan midfield, which is already packed with talent, if he can settle down, he can be the star player in that midfield, and he can even boost the numbers further of Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez. So yeah, I think the move's good for both Inter and Eriksen as well. So what do you think?
I think he's shown his class over the years in the Premier League, so it's a good signing from Inter's and Eriksen's perspective. His interview, I think it was BBC Sport, he called himself the black sheep at Tottenham. Clearly weren't happy, so I think it was time to go. I think we've all seen it coming, so I agree. It is one of the best signings of this window.
Yeah, it is a very good signing personally for him. Obviously, to go to Inter Milan, obviously it'll be easy to fit in with the amount of Premier League players they have. I'm not entirely sure that it's around his level. I don't think he could have gone to Real Madrid or Barcelona or anything like that. But yeah, his debut wasn't too impressive, was it? But then again, it is only a debut.
Yeah.
But if he learns to take corners, he might be a good player.
Yeah. I think we'll see. I don't think we can perhaps judge maybe the first 6 months.
Obviously,
he's there.
he's been in and out of the Tottenham team. So
he's been in the Premier League for a while, so it'll take time to adjust, but if he can find that consistency that he did kind of in the first couple of years at Tottenham, he could be a world beater at Inter Milan, and he could take them to a Serie A title and even the Europa League. So yeah, Phil, number 4, what have we got?
So in fourth place, I've gone for Steven Bergwijn, who's gone from PSV to Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just saying this because he scored against Man City last time out, but he's got 72 goals and assists in 149 games for PSV. 22 years of age, I think that's quite impressive. I know it's the Dutch league, but it's still a good record to have. Can play in on the left and in as a number 10. I think his output this season's been
He could
better.
play as a number 9 as well.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show he's versatile, and I think with the absence of Harry Kane, it's going to be just either backup or a good replacement for now. You've got Son and Lucas Moura. I think it's just a good backup to have, as well as a player who can start like he did against Man City, and he scored a brilliant goal.
Yeah, let's talk about that finish, because I thought he was quite quiet until he came to life.
He showed glimpses, didn't he?
Yeah.
Where he got the ball, he looked sharp, but he
Yeah.
did lose it a few times. But you'd expect that against a team as good as Manchester City.
Yeah, the way he took that finish as well, just as soon as he got it onto his chest and as quick as he could, just snapped at it in it. I think it probably took Ederson off guard. But as a forward, I think he's one of the most exciting talents coming out of Holland at the minute. Obviously, there's plenty of talent coming out of the Eredivisie at the minute. Cam, what do you think?
I think it was the right move for him to come to the Premier League, but I don't know whether in this Tottenham team Mourinho would let the attackers flourish. Like, will he grow to his potential under this Mourinho Tottenham team? I don't think so. You've seen it like Mourinho failed to grow Martial and Rashford. I think Mourinho's best attacking team is obviously Real Madrid, but that was with Özil, Di Maria, Ronaldo and Benzema at the prime. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure whether he's in my top 5 signings. It's a good signing for him personally. But yeah.
I think also with Eriksen going to Inter Milan, that's one attacking player out, another in, and I think it's what Tottenham need right now.
Yeah, it is a good move.
They need depth, yeah,
Mhm.
especially with Harry Kane's injury. But
Yeah. Cam, you're number 4. What have we got?
Souček.
I've got him down on the shortlist. But
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, so from Slavia Prague to West Ham, the 6'4" centre mid has been compared to Marouane Fellaini.
He's very, very good.
He could have the similar impact under David Moyes. They've only got him on loan until the end of the season for 4 million, but they are
4 million?
4 million loan.
Oh, okay. I've got a 4 million release code.
No, they paid 4 million for the loan just till the end of summer, and if they
Yeah.
stay up, they have to buy him for 16 million.
That's still a very good deal.
Yeah, but someone that can sit in any 3 positions, like CDM, centre mid, or attacking mid. He's got 31 goals in 114 league games for Slavia Prague, and yeah, I think he had a very solid debut.
I think he was Slavia Prague's top scorer this season. Obviously, I know it's the Czech league. It's not a great league, but you've seen his performances in the Champions League. You've seen how hard their group was with Inter, Barca and Dortmund. But the way Slavia Prague kind of set up were very hard to beat. I think Souček was vital to how that was run. Phil, do you know anything about Thomas Souček?
I don't know.
We'll pass comment on that one.
You don't watch the Czech league?
Not in my spare time, no.
But yeah, I think
Prefer to watch the Chinese league to watch the Gala.
Yeah.
I think if West Ham can get him for 16 million, I think that would be brilliant. I think maybe even as a replacement if Declan Rice was to move on. I don't think he should. I don't think he's good enough to play it.
Brighton were in for Souček, and then apparently West Ham came in last minute, and as soon as he heard of their interest, he was like, no-brainer.
Yeah.
Which
West Ham have been on fire and getting there last minute, haven't they?
Yeah.
First Bowen.
Couple of good deals. Did I ask you for your 4th? I did, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah. So my
What's
number
your fourth?
my number 4 is Christoph Piontek to Hertha Berlin. As you know, Piontek came onto the scene last season with, I want to say Genoa. I'm not sure. It was in a middling Italian team. Then went to AC Milan. Started really well, and then he's kind of fallen off ever since the start of the season. Obviously, they've had struggles with their kind of management and what direction they want to go moving forward. But Piontek's kind of been out of favour. Obviously, you've seen Ibrahimovic come in at the start of the window, and he's not really played ever since he's shown up. So I think a move away, especially to Hertha Berlin, will be good for him to kind of get his form back. And I think the German league, a league that favours strikers quite well in attacking play, I think that'll suit him really nicely. And I think as well for Hertha Berlin, he's a brilliant striker. He will score a lot of goals if he can get his form back. Obviously, he was linked with Spurs. I think he's been linked with Man United as well.
Everyone has, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
a surprise. So I think, if you can capture that form that he kind of showed at the start of last season, and then kind of the start of his time at AC Milan, I think the 30 million they paid, I think they paid 30 million for him.
Yeah.
It'll probably be a bargain, and then he'll end up moving on easily, if he can show that form.
No, yeah, I'm very fond of AC Milan. I am. So I've watched quite a few matches. I've seen him score live, and I was surprised for them to sell him straight away. But yeah, I think he's just one of them times where striker just needs a bit more confidence in front of goal. He had missed quite a few big chances, but it's time for him to move on, especially because they're playing Rafael Leo alongside Ibra, and that seems to be
Rebic as well is starting to get his form back.
They
as
all
well.
seem to be working quite well together. So yeah, and Piatek scored in his debut as well.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Phil, what do you think? Or do you not know anything about Piontek as
No,
well?
I remember when he came on the scene last season, and he scored a lot of goals. I'm not sure the exact number, but it's a good signing for a side that sit sort of in the middle of the Bundesliga table. And they've got a few good players in that team, so like you said, I think if he gets his confidence back, it's going to be a great buy for 30 million, did you say?
I think it's 30 million, or it might be a loan with an obligation to buy.
But I think
30
for
million.
the Hertha Berlin and the player, it's a good move.
He was top scorer only for both teams, Genoa and
Yeah.
AC Milan last season. But can you just mention Hertha Berlin spending 115 million euros since this summer?
Since the summer?
Yeah.
I remember they've brought someone else in as well that was really good, and his name...
Was it the guy from
escapes me.
Watford? I can't even say his name. It's
There
quite
was
a long
someone
one.
else. I can't remember. But,
They've got
actually,
Markov
that-
Grujic on loan from Liverpool.
Yeah.
And he's come on heaps and bounds by the looks of it over there.
Yeah.
And I think they beat Bayern Munich, didn't they, at the first half of the
they
season?
drew
was
in,
it?
in the first game of the season. They drew 2-2. Yeah, they did look really good. They're obviously managed by Jurgen Klinsmann now as well. I'm just gonna get.
They're a team to watch, I think, in Bundesliga. It's turning into a very, very good league.
Yeah, it's better than the Premier League.
Yeah,
100%.
and I do quite jealous of the fan culture in Germany.
Yes. I'm. Who was it?
Ooh.
Lucas Toussaint from Lyon.
Yeah.
They've I think they've loaned him back out to Lyon, but then they're going to get him at the end of the season. He's 22. He looks like a really good player. So yeah, they've been quite good with the spending. So yeah. Anyway, Phil, number 3.
So I've gone for Bruno Fernandes as number 3. He would be higher as one of the best buys if it weren't for all the trouble that's gone off with United on and off the pitch this season. I think if there was a more stable team and they were performing better than they are, because I think they're 13 points worse off than they were last season. So you can't pretend that there's nothing wrong going off at United. But no, Bruno Fernandes for a fee of 46.5 million, it's an unbelievable signing. He has the potential to become one of the best playmakers in the Premier League. His stats at Sporting, I think it's in his last 45 appearances, 46 goals and assists.
Wow.
And as a midfielder player playing on the right, I think he was on the right hand side of Sporting's midfield. It's just incredible, those numbers. I think no player even comes close to that. So I think if he performs as well as he has at Sporting, Man United have got a very good player in their hands.
What do you make to his debut at the weekend, Cam?
I've seen rival fans taking the mick out of it all and everything, but I think it was a relatively solid debut. I think you saw him instructing our players where to go, and that's on his debut. Like, he looked like the only one who knew how to play that midfield role and the creative one. Like Lingard's running out wide and just leaving the number 10 position and stuff. So
what did you think to him playing more as the deeper role?
Yeah, I didn't like that. I think
Solskjaer said it's to get him on the ball, but do you really want a player dropping back when he has the ability to push forward and get goals and assists?
A player like that, I think,
especially
especially with his assists and goals, you'd want him further forward.
I think that seems to be a trend with United. We sign these good players when playing in the wrong position, but with Fernandes, I don't think we have anyone to play the ball into him if he is in the number 10.
That's
So,
true.
and seeing these long shots at Sporting Lisbon, I suppose he did have a few against.
Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
few corkers at the weekend.
Yeah, he did have a few, but I think
he had five long shots or attempted
Yeah.
shots in the game at the weekend. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he
and
performs.
obviously he broke Frank Lampard's record as a centre mid, most goals from central
Was
mid
it
position
28
this
he got?
season. Something
So I think
stupid
Lampard's
from
record was
something.
27, so I
Yeah.
think he got one more.
Yeah.
But yeah, incredible player. And I think with the absence of Pogba, not sure when he's back.
We should have McTominay and Pogba back after this winter break.
You know,
so with them around him, I think
It
can
could be a
better.
good midfield for the last about 13 games of the season. I think next season will be more of a better judgment
We just
of how
need,
good he will be.
we need to build something now to build on.
Mm-hmm.
Going in the right direction with that signing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cam, you're number 3.
Already been mentioned, Jared Bowen. I haven't
Mhm.
really got much to add to it, but yeah, he's
Good player.
really good signing. Yeah, we've already all the stats have been done.
We'll move on quickly then. So,
Who's yours?
number 3, Danny Olmo to Leipzig. Why did you roll your eyes like that?
That's definitely your second one, isn't it?
No, he's actually the one above that, number 1.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
So Danny Olmo, sorry to take your thunder again,
Yeah.
but Zagreb to Leipzig, obviously a big jump. You've seen how he's played in the Champions League for Zagreb. Their standout player by far. In the under-21 Euros as well, scored in the final. I think he's a product of Barca's La Masia, I think.
Yeah.
He
is.
So obviously Zagreb to Leipzig, great move for him and a great move for Leipzig. Obviously Leipzig pushing on in the Bundesliga title race now. It's a
1 point behind, aren't they?
yeah, a 4-horse race now between Dortmund, Munich, Leipzig, and Mönchengladbach. Although they're starting to maybe show signs of falling off. But Leipzig, famed for their great recruitment and young players. You can probably name 5 or 6 off the top of my head. You know, Upamecano, Konate, Mukiele, Werner, obviously, linked with Liverpool. Nkunku's on loan.
Well, obviously, just in the Red Bull setup as a whole, where where they move the players around and stuff like
Mhm.
Haaland, Mane, Naby Keita as well.
Yeah.
Leipzig have got a very good team, young team as well. I
Yeah.
mean, they've got 2 centre backs, French.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Konate
Upamecano
and,
Konate, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, those 2 players, they have the potential to be a very good centre back partnership, and it does go in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, I think as well, even if Leipzig's kind of been a stepping stone for some players, we mentioned Naby Keita, going from Salzburg to Leipzig,
Then to
then to Liverpool. I think for the future, Leipzig, it might not even be a stepping stone. I think it might be a proving ground.
If they can elevate themselves to win the league, as unpopular as that would be in Germany,
Yeah.
I think players would start to want to, especially to keep the core of the team together. I think more players will want to go there and stay there.
Yeah, because there's that attraction of consistent
And
Champions League
exciting football as well.
Yeah, like Bundesliga, it's mainly all exciting football. No one
Mm.
really defends in too
Yeah.
much in that league. So yeah, I think Danny Olmo especially will add a lot to that Leipzig team going forward,
I think-
as much as they are now. Anyway,
I think this move could project him into the proper, like maybe borderline starting 11 for Spain this summer. He's already made his debut for Spain, scoring a goal on it. It was a 7-0 win, but
You have to start somewhere.
do you think
Yeah.
he'll break into the Spanish team? Because you think
think-
about all the midfielders they've got and all the talent.
Yeah, he started to get into the squad, and I think moving from Zagreb into the Bundesliga now into one of the top 5 leagues, I think that it gives him a better foundation to push on and make his mark.
So number 2, we're going to try and race through these a little bit quicker. Phil, number 2, what have you got?
Sander Berge to Sheffield United from Genk. I think you was the one who sort of put it into
I've
my
got him at number
attention.
2. I've got him at number 2 as well.
But he's a brilliant player, and I think you can say more about him. But for 22 million, he's got 21 appearances for Norway as well. So he's an international player, Champions League experience, played against Liverpool twice this season. And I think for a team that like Sheffield United, who are hoping to get like Europa League football next season, I think that's a realistic expectation. I think he'd be a great addition with some experience for that team. But I'll let you speak more.
I will in a minute, but Cam, let's do
No,
it.
go on. If you've got him at number 2,
so
we might as well stay on it.
obviously Sander Berge to Sheffield United is, if there wasn't for one, very special, probably generational talent at number one, I think this would be my number one, because you think about how to he's 6'3", 6'4". He can break play up. He can play the ball forward. He can carry the ball. He can shoot from distance. And for Sheffield United to pick this up, along with Zivkovic as well from, I don't know where from. I think it's the Eredivisie.
He used to be at Ajax, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he used to be a really good young
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah, and Retsos as well from by Leverkusen, the centre half. I think they've done some. They've probably, out of the Premier League clubs, they've probably done
The best business.
the best business. Yeah, I think it might take maybe a little while to get used to Wilder's kind of strange but effective tactics. But I think if Wilder has him as the holding midfielder, I think he could be worth 40-50 million in
It's a
in a year or
testament to
two.
how far Sheffield United have come.
Yeah.
I mean, they've only been in the Premier League for less than a season, and to attract players like Sander Berge.
Yeah, he was linked with Juve. Linked with Juve, linked with Man United.
I mean,
Obviously.
he tried to get him in the summer,
Is it-
didn't he? I read
Yeah.
a newspaper article that they went for him in the summer. Weren't to be, but obviously they picked him up now, and it'll be really interesting to see how he gets on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him play in the Premier League, especially see how he gets on.
Do you think we've seen a lot of clubs push on, like Burnley, Stoke, when they go into Europe for a season and then they do really badly in the Premier League the following? Do you think that'll be the case for Sheffield United?
There's a big risk of that, but I
Yeah.
think with the manager that they've got, I think they're better positioned than other teams are.
Do you think
But
better position than Wolves
what to get?
to get
Not in that case, but if they do get Europe,
Burnley?
Yeah.
I think better position than Burnley were.
Yeah.
Because Burnley, obviously, they went into Europe, played all these games, and just fell down.
Yeah,
the
West
league.
Ham were the same as well.
Yeah,
weren't they?
West
obviously-
Ham is another example.
With these signings, they've got that bit more quality and depth as well, so that'll help.
But they need to perform, because to get players who have played in the Champions League, they need to be in European competitions for
Yeah.
them to want to stay at the club. Otherwise, before you know it, bigger clubs will come in and take them.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Is anyone going to give us a rendition of Billy Sharp's?
I'll let you do that, Cam.
Cam.
Moving on swiftly. Yeah.
Yes, Cam number 2. What have we got?
Well, somebody's already taken my Danny Olmo, so we might as well just all talk about that one.
Oh, is it?
That one player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I guess who that is?
Oh, go on then. Shall we just move? So we'll move on to number one.
Should we just go on 3, 2, 1?
3, 2, 1. Haaland.
Haaland,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. So, Cam, I'll let you talk about it. Soon as you get to talk about your number 2. Your number 5 or 4, whatever. Go on. Yeah.
Well, obviously he's can't even describe his first few games.
A goal machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I've forgotten what goal on average
8
now.
goals,
every minute it's like
is it
22.
4 appearances?
I thought it's 10.
8 goals in
No, it's
4
8.
games for him. Yeah.
Is it?
But
7 in the league, 1 in the
Still.
cup.
yeah. But what
And
is
he's
it,
only
like,
been on the pitch for 180 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So two games worth, effectively.
It's just mad. Like you're expecting that every time he comes on, you're going, oh, what will he do? And I get that notification, goal, Haaland. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, again.
What a surprise.
Yeah. But so this season in total, he's got 36 goals in 26 games.
Good lord.
Obviously, he's top scorer in the Champions League.
He's got 8 goals and 6 appearances, and we're playing in the Champions League Dortmund. He could
Yeah.
get even more.
Yeah, it's
Do you think
mad.
Do you think with the addition of Haaland, and obviously they got Emre Can as well, do you
Good
think they
buy.
can? Do you think they can do well in the Champions League this season?
Royce has just been ruled out of the knockout leg.
He got
Is it?
injured. He got injured, didn't he, yesterday?
That's going to be, I think that's the highlight. That tie, Dortmund versus PSG, that's the highlight of the round. I
very
think.
exciting game. But you would PSG need to win that. Both teams do, but I
Yeah.
think PSG will be judged
Yeah.
more if they don't.
Well, it depends on how Dortmund's defence can hold out. They've had a lot of defensive struggles this season.
Lost
but,
3-2 last night.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of high-scoring games recently with
Mhm.
them.
But yeah, I think with Haaland, go back to Haaland, he has a weird blend of kind of like, when you look at him, you don't think he's a particularly quick striker, do you? You think kind of like a target man who can score with his left foot, right foot, his head. But when on his debut, when Augsburg played a really high line, he left defenders in the dust. The goals he scored, all of them are kind of more or less the same, where he gets in behind the defence and scores. But I think he could stay at Dortmund for the next 5 years. He could push them on.
With a new contract and a
Yeah.
few for...
Do you think he would stay there?
No.
I
That's
see
why
Dortmund as a stepping stone.
That's why
I-
there's a 60 million buyout clause
I
in
don't
his
know.
contract.
It depends how. I think he might be barring maybe a few defensive replacements. I think he's the one that could genuinely push them on into Bundesliga title winning form and to go far in the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
as
you know,
well.
you've got exciting talents like Sancho, 19 years of age as well, but can you keep on to him in the summer?
That link up, that Sancho and Haaland link up is
Because he's strongly
something
linked.
else.
Like I just can't see players of that ability being able to stay at Dortmund, because Dortmund are my favourite German club. I don't know about you two, but I just think they have a massive task on their hands to keep hold of them two.
Yeah. Can I just mention, you mentioned the high line from Augsburg, but I've actually got really annoyed when watching Haaland's goals, because 4 out of his 8 now, the defence being stood on the halfway
Yeah,
line,
it
and just
doesn't-
one
it
ball
doesn't
through,
make
I'm like,
sense.
what
Yeah.
are you doing?
Especially
Yeah,
playing
you think
against
you defend
Dortmund.
better than
Yeah.
that, wouldn't you?
Dortmund as
Yeah.
well, I think like the pace of their attack, with,
Yeah.
like you said, Sancho, Royce, Torgan Hazard, Brandt. They've got so much
Yeah.
depth in
And then
attack.
his other goals the other day, where one was a rebound, that good instinctive
Mhm.
finish, and the other one first time, another good finish. But I think the goalkeeper should be doing better again. Where
It's been in those positions, like you said.
Yeah.
If you're not there, you're not going to score. It's as simple as that. I think he's a natural finisher, and I think like we said, he is a generational talent of what he's showed so far. He is probably going to be one of the best strikers in the world.
You'd imagine if he can keep this up, he'll
Yeah, if he keeps up his form, that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that concludes our roundup of the January transfer window. Has anyone got any honourable mentions or not? Because I have a few.
I'll let you. I know
Yeah,
you've got
go
a
on.
lot, so go on.
Okay, so I drew up a short list. So I'll go through the names. I won't talk into detail. I'll just go through the names. So I've got Yannick Carrasco to Atletico Madrid. Obviously Thomas Souček to West Ham. I've got Ben Arfa to Real Valladolid.
Good move.
learning off R9.
Yeah, I think that is a weird combination, R9 and Ben Arfa, but I think, as said, I won't explain actually, so I'm not going to explain. Odriozola to Bayern Munich.
That's a very good signing.
Yeah.
Very good signing, yeah. Todibo, Jean-Claire Todibo from Barca to Schalke. Stanislav Lobotka to Napoli. Diego Demme from Leipzig to Napoli.
That's a good one, yeah.
Carlos Alenya from Barca to Betis on loan. Ryan Brewster from Liverpool to Swansea. Ezekiel Palacios from, I believe it's River Plate to Bayer
Yeah.
Leverkusen. That's
Yeah.
15 million. That would be a bargain. And Bruno Fernandes to Man United.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all good signings. I think good moves in the transfer window. So
There was quite a few considering it was January. I think it's a good
yeah, it's been a
window.
It's been a good
Phil,
window.
did you sneak in that Ryan Brewster one?
last night.
So finally, we'll our last part of the podcast. We'll move to the Premier League preview as we did last week. Match day 26 for a couple of teams. Only 4 games this week.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the two week break in effect now. So I'll run through the games. Can quickly talk about them, whichever one you want to. So we've got Everton Crystal Palace,
It's an intriguing game, that.
Brighton Watford.
Another intriguing game.
Am I going to make it a hat-trick of intriguing games? Sheffield United versus
Another
Bournemouth.
intriguing
And then
game.
Manchester City versus West Ham at the Etihad.
Intriguing.
Intriguing game. Brilliant. Thanks for that, Phil.
Yeah.
That recaps our preview.
I've got something to say about them all.
So I guess we'll start off with Everton and Crystal Palace. We've not talked too much about Everton on this podcast before,
And perhaps they should be spoken about more.
because under Ancelotti they are starting to pick up their form. You've seen ever since Ancelotti's been in charge. I think they're kind of on points have been third or fourth in the league.
I think they sit second in the form table since
Did they? Brilliant.
since Ancelotti came in. They've won 4, drawn 2, and only lost 1.
So what do you make to their chances at the weekend, and how impressed have you been with Everton?
I think everyone, since Arteta's gone to Arsenal, everyone's gone on about Arteta and the difference he's made, but Ancelotti's come in, and I think everyone thought he'd make Everton a better team, and he has. If they've only lost 1 in 7 compared to what he was before that, I think they stand a very good chance of beating a Palace side that they've only got 1 win in the last 7, Palace. So I think, in my opinion, 2-0 Everton in that one.
Do you think though Palace's away form is, especially this season and last season, has been a lot better than their home form? Do you think maybe Palace can pull one out of the bag, Cam? What do you think?
No, I don't think they can. Maybe they might get a draw or something, or like Everton were very unlucky against Newcastle, obviously, last 2 minutes. But they have seemed to be they have a knack of winning games, which is just the most important thing. And under Ancelotti, I think that's what he's brought in, a bit more of a winning mentality.
Mhm.
And I can see 2-1 Everton.
I think the two standout players for Everton ever since Ancelotti's been in charge is Dom Calvert-Lewin and Mason Holgate. Do you think them both could potentially reach the England Euro 2020 squad? What do you think?
I mean, with the injury sort of crisis that England strikers have had, you know, he could. I think, is it 10 goals that Lewin's got now?
Yeah, I think he's one of 3 players to score 10 or more. English players, sorry,
Yeah.
that scored 10 or more.
He's had a good season, but whether he's ready for that step up to the national team, I think you have to do a bit more than that to get in there.
Mhm.
When you've got players like Kane and Rashford and people who have performed for
Potentially
years.
Vardy as well.
You've got Abraham Ings.
Yeah,
if he's able
Ings.
to.
Ings, I think, out of anyone, Ings deserves it the most.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He scored again last night against Spurs, even though they lost. I think if you had to pick one right now, I'd go with Ings. But I think if Lewin keeps it up, he's definitely in there for a shout.
Do you think Mason Holgate maybe as well for not as a starting centre back, but as a sort of a backup centre back? Cam, what do you think?
Well, they're obviously probably England's weakest positions in centre back and striker at the minute. It's like Phil said with the injury, but yeah, centre back. I don't know. I think he might get backup maybe, but I don't think he will be in the squad. No. What do you think?
Just on a side note, who do you think England's starting centre halves will be at the Euros?
Gomez. If Gomez isn't one of them.
Gomez.
Do you think it'll be a back three again?
I think it should be.
So Maguire, Gomez, and
I'd have. We'll talk about this actually on another podcast, but
Yeah.
just for now, Wan-Bissaka as a right centre half.
With Arnold on the right wing back.
Yeah,
And then
Maguire
and
and Gomez.
that's good. And then left back Chilwell.
Left wing back Chilwell or Rose.
yeah,
So what do you think for that one? Everton Crystal Palace prediction?
I've gone
You
2-0
said
Everton.
2-0, didn't
yeah,
you?
2-1 me. I said.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go 2-1
Yeah.
to Everton. So we've spoke a lot about Sheffield United. So we'll speak a little bit more about Bournemouth, their opponents at the weekend. What do you think to their form recently? Because as we said, I think Bournemouth's form has been pretty terrible as of late. They've only won it
Since
1-1,
they won 1-0 at Stamford Bridge, they went on a winless run of 6 games. And then obviously they've won the last 2 games, which may suggest a bit back on form. But I think with the way Sheffield United have performed at home this season, obviously they suffered defeats against City and Liverpool. Have they lost any other home games? I'm not so sure.
City,
they have.
Liverpool. No, I don't think. No, they lost Southampton. They've lost to Southampton at home this season.
But I think they've been impressive at home and away. I think Sheffield United will edge that one.
What do you
if I had
think?
to
Score
predict.
prediction?
I'm going to go 2-0 Sheffield United.
2-0. Come.
Obviously the last game was right at the start of the season between the two teams that ended 1-1.
Did Billy Sharp score in that
Yeah,
one?
he did.
Billy Sharp.
Was
Yeah.
that the equaliser?
That was the
In like the 85th minute?
88th minute
Yeah.
equaliser, yeah. I think it will be 2-0 Sheffield United, yeah.
I'm going to go 1-0 Sheffield United. Very quickly, we'll just... I'll take your predictions for Brighton Watford.
I've gone for a 2-1 Watford win in this one.
Ooh, 2-1 Watford. What do you think, Cam?
1-0.
2-0.
2-1.
2-0. And very quickly, Man City, West Ham. I don't want to talk about Man City for too much longer.
Only one winner in this one for me. I think it's a perfect opportunity to get the form back a bit. At home, I've gone for 5-0.
Good lord.
5-0, fair enough. I'll go for 3-1.
2-1.
West Ham haven't won in 6 games.
Not
Yeah,
too
but
confident, Lucas.
It's just a perfect storm, isn't it, for West Ham to go on and...
I
Yeah.
can't-
It's
although
one of them typical, just David Moyes comes out of nowhere.
His record's shocking against top 6 teams, though.
Yeah.
I'm not confident.
It's just
anymore.
shocking in general, isn't it?
I don't care about the Premier League anymore. A league I do care about though very much at the minute is the Bundesliga, and we'll do that to just cap off today's podcast. Bayern v Leipzig, biggest game arguably of the weekend. First v second, Bayern a point ahead of Leipzig. What do you make to it? What do you think?
I think Bayern's experience would come through in this one. I think they've won that many league titles with the current squad they've got, that although it's a very exciting proposition for a game, I think Bayern will edge it.
What score?
3-1.
What do you think, Cam? As in, not as a prediction, but as an overall outcome of the game.
I think Leipzig have started. They haven't been as on top form as they were.
No, they drew against Mönchengladbach last week, and they've been a little bit shaky.
Yeah, because I thought they might have gone on to really be like just make it a 1 or 2 horse race, but I think Bayern Munich will just dominate it. Really, I think 4-2.
4-2,
Love
big
a goal
game.
fest in the Bundesliga.
I'm gonna go 5-0 Bayern.
Oh.
You've seen Bayern destroy kind of incapable defences.
Dortmund being one of them.
Dortmund at the back end of last season and at the start of this season. And I think, as you said, their experience in these types of games is a lot greater than that of Leipzig's. And I think if Lewandowski can kind of hit top 4, he could have 3 or 4 in this one. So I think maybe being a bit harsh on Leipzig, seems like we've bigged them up quite a lot in this podcast. But maybe this might be one where they just have to take this one on the chin, and as a learning experience.
Wow.
5-0.
Well, get watching that game if you want to see goals.
Yeah,
then according to us.
that's the game that
Game of the week.
I'd watch for the weekend. So that caps off our podcast this week, episode 4. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe as always. Also, leave us a comment on anything else that you want us to do, and any feedback would be brilliant as always. So thank you for watching or listening, and we will speak to you next week.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Thank you.